Americans murdered by terrorists in Libya. The deadly September 11th assault going on for hours. Last week, Fox News reporting that requests for help from CIA operatives at the Benghazi consulate compound were denied. Is someone to blame for not sending in reinforcements? Bing West is former Assistant Secretary of Defense in the President Reagan administration, a Marine combat vet, and the author of Into the Fire. He joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Greta.
Well, our information is that they asked for help, at least at some point, or asked to go over and help at the consulate. I'm curious, if a request for help is made, tell me from your own professional background, to whom is the request made? What's the chain of command?
Well, it was quite clear. The president was sitting in the Oval Office when the fight began, and he called in the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. President Obama now tells us that he gave the directive immediately for the military to do everything it needed to do to save our diplomats. The Secretary of Defense then turns to the chairman and says, I want an execute order. Once the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dempsey, hears those words, yes, sir, he's right there, then he calls his theater commander, who's in charge of Africa, General Ham, and he says, get those assets moving, and a written execute order will follow, but get those assets moving. So that's clear. But what really makes it unclear is then the Secretary of Defense came out separately and said, oh no, General Dempsey and General Ham, the two top Army generals, agreed with me that we should do nothing. Well, which is it now? Is it the President of the United States, is the Commander-in-Chief saying, do it, and the Secretary of Defense saying, no, sir, the generals and I agree we're not going to do it? That doesn't make sense to me, Greta. And it's very easy for the President of the United States to come forward and tell the American people, hey, here's my execute order, because there's no such thing as the military going off and doing something without that execution order. So all I'd like to do, I'd just like to see the execution order.